Welcome to NBK Tech World. This lesson, we will learn how to get an array and combine all the elements into a string. So this time we're going from array to the string type. So let's get started. As usual, let's take an example right off the bat. Suppose I have, say, an array. I am going to use square brackets right here. An array of 3 elements, and those elements, each one of them will be a number. So let's think about phone numbers, for example. So let me just create the array right here. First element is a number 1, 2, 3. Second element is going to be another number 4, 5, 6. And then the third element is going to be 7, 8, 9, 0 or 1. Let's put 1. So here we have an array. Notice the square brackets, right? And we have 1, 2, 3 elements, and they're separated by a comma, right? I just add an extra space after the comma by convention, style convention, okay? So we have 3 numbers here. Let's say we want to somehow combine all these numbers into a string, and between each number we want a dash. Okay, so how can we accomplish that? So we want to be able to come from here and generate this guy right here on the right hand side. So to do that, we're going to use the method join on the array. Okay, so we're going to learn about join. So we're going from an array to a string with some separator in between each element, and that's going to be a dash in our case. So let's get started. So given the array right here, let's first put this guy in a variable. I'm going to use let in case I want to change it later on. Okay, let's call it numbers. So this is an array, right, with 3 elements, and each of the elements is a number. Now let's do numbers dot join. Then the join method on the array type, okay, it requires the argument telling it what's the delimiter, what's the separator you want when I'm combining all these elements together. This case is going to be this dash, right? But we have to enclose it in quotes so it becomes a string. So let's see what we get. So we get each element value separated by a dash, which is what the argument to the method join, and that's a resulting string. Okay, it generates a new string from the numbers array. Numbers array remains unchanged, and the moment you do the operation you get a string, a new string. So that's join. The separator doesn't have to be a dash, it could be anything you want. For example, I could put star, 5 star. So you would get a 5 star in between each element. Okay, so that's one example. Let's try another example now of a sentence. We want to build a sentence from an array of words. Let's build an array of words. Let's start with the square brackets. We're creating an array, a list of items. Let's add a word to let's have a word for each element of the array. Let's use the example, there is a cat on the table. is a fourth element cat, fifth element on, sixth element the seventh element table. So we have an array right here. Each element is a string. Notice the quotes surrounding each sequence of characters. In this case, we have a word as each element. So let's create a variable here. I'm going to use let just in case I need to change it later on. Let's call it words. This is a variable that holds an array, a list of items. Each item, each element of this array is a string representing a word. Words is an array that has 7 elements. Each element is a word. Let's make a sentence out of this array. The sentence is going to be a single string, all these guys combined. And what's in between each word? It's a white space. So how can we do that? Knowing that you can use the join method on an array. I want to see you try it by yourself. Pause the video. Once you're done, we're gonna do it together. So how did it go? So let's do words, name of the variable that holds the array, dot, the method is called join, got our parentheses here because it's a function call. Now we want to join all the elements of this array using the following separator, the white space. I just typed the white space right here. Let's see what we get. We get the sentence, there is a cat on the table. There is no period, but we can add it easily. And I'll show you just now how to add a period. It's very simple. You can use the string concatenation technique. Remember that? So if this guy gives you the sentence, all you need is to add a period. You can do so by concatenating with the plus and the period inside a quotes, so the string. So you're taking this guy whose output is a string, this whole thing, and you're adding a period and you're going to get a new string with the period right at the end. Okay, so we use the string concatenation to add the period right there. So let's review what we did in this lesson. In this lesson, we learned about the join method of the array type. We learned how to get an array of elements and create a string with all the elements of the array combined, separated by some sort of delimiter. We did our first example with 3 numbers inside a list. Then we generated a string with all those numbers separated by a dash. Could be some sort of phone number formatting. Then we did the example of the sentence. We have an array of words. Each word is a string. Then we want to generate a sentence, a whole string. We took the array of words and used a join with the white space as the separator. Then we got the string with the sentence. We added the period just as an extra using string concatenation. Okay, that's it for this lesson, and I'll see you on the next one.